Morning, everybody. Welcome to MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group Securities offered by MoneyBlock. We're going to take a look at all the opening action in Europe so far that's been occurring since around 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. It's been a basically inline open for Europe. As a matter of fact, let's take a look. Let's start in the currency markets. Taking a look at the euro-US dollar pair, we want to keep an eye on the currency markets. They've been a little bit of a flag as far as movements in equities. So we see that the euro is actually trading a little bit weaker this morning against the US dollar. That has been a global story right now. We're seeing global currencies like the yen and the euro trading weaker against the US dollar. That's really helping out certain sectors of the market. Specifically, you're going to see some retail names and exporters in Europe as well as Asia, as we discussed this morning in the overnight action report. But the euro trading down today at its worst levels. We're going to see if it's going to challenge that 200-day moving average, which it popped over 3 sessions ago when we saw the dollar start to just hold up comparative to its peers, especially after we saw partial resolution to the French election. We'll know the outcome on May 7th. But now, really what Europe is focused on is going to be earnings so far this week until Thursday, when the ECB, the European Central Bank, they're going to be meeting. And so we're going to listen to the tone of their statements after their meeting. But right now, the European continent is focused on earnings. And specifically, we're going to take a look at the DAX. And currently, you can see that the DAX is down right here, down about 7.5 right now after the open. That's good for basically flat line. It's up, just trading at around 12,459.50. You can clearly see that right now the market is above its 50 and its 20-day moving average. The reason why I point this out is these are levels of support that you're going to want to watch on the German indices. Germany is one of the largest economies, not only in Europe, it's actually the biggest, but one of the largest in the world. So this is going to be a big barometer on what's going on. There was a battleground here a few weeks ago where it was testing that 50-day moving average. After we've seen some pressure come off due to the French elections, the market has popped up, now consolidating at its highs. We're starting to see this universally across global markets, including here in the States. Even though we've seen an upside grind hitting nice big round numbers, the point being is that we need to see some conviction and catalyst. Maybe earnings could be that catalyst. Taking a look, though, at Germany, you're starting to see some pressure in the steel markets. That's why we're seeing that the market currently is trading down. U.S. Steel here in the United States reported last night they missed big. As a matter of fact, they had a loss of 83 cents, and there was expecting a potential gain of 35 cents. That's a miss of well over $1. That had not only other steel makers in the U.S., that has steel makers in Germany under pressure this morning after that loss. You're also seeing big chemical maker BASF under pressure. You're also seeing Adidas down as well. Now, we are seeing names like Commerce Bank holding up. That's because the currently, if you take a look at the current markets right now in the bonds have been pulling off as of late as far as the price action. They're holding up this morning. We're going to see if in fact that continues. If we start to see that bonds firm up and you're not seeing that price action pull down on the downside, in other words, yields coming up, that may put the brakes on the current run-up in the financials, but right now, financials are leading in Germany. Taking a look at the UK, basically you're seeing that most banks right now are under pressure in the UK. Names like Lloyd's, RBS are under pressure. That's in spite of the fact that we saw that the Standard Chartered came out, had really solid earnings. Stocks up about 4.4% on the FTSE right now. Better than expected earnings. So let's see if that maybe catalyzes the bank, but we can see that the FTSE right now is under pressure, down only 0.14% or 10 basically 10 and some change at 72.65, but we'll watch that one very closely, especially since we've had an enormous run-up over the last few sessions. Let's see if there's some profit taking from some speculators that might be a little bit of as far as weak hands. Also looking at and finally looking at the French CAC. Trading down, basically flat. It's down 50 cents at 52.77. The financials right now taking a little bit of a breather this morning in France. They popped up after, as you could clearly see, we started to see that Marine Le Pen is going to be running off of, against Macron, which is more of a centrist candidate. There was fear that Fillon or Michelin and Fillon, either one of those two, that would give Le Pen either a better leg up. Currently, she's about 20 points behind in the polls. The final vote's going to be on May 7th on this runoff against these two. But the market obviously likes the outcome from the first vote, gave Marie Le Pen a little bit less momentum than what she had going into that vote. But right now, you're seeing that the French markets are holding up, but there is some profit taking, it looks like, in the financial sector. You're also seeing luxury goods maker Kering. Now, Kering, it's a luxury goods, it's a holding company. Yesterday we talked about Louis Vuitton and a deal there, as well as Puma moving to the upside. Now, Puma is a name, a brand that is held in the holding company by Kering. Kering right now is trading up about almost 7%. It got as high as 9% on the open after the luxury goods holding company had a really solid earnings. And the other thing is that you're starting to see luxury names, names like Gucci, like Louis Vuitton, all moving to the upside, especially since we're seeing still some growth components in Asia, which is a huge outlet. And the fact of the matter is that you're starting to see that currencies where these goods are being purchased are showing some strength. That means they're going to have buying power. That means they could potentially move these luxury goods a lot more in scale. So we'll have to watch that closely, but Kering moving to the upside, that's a leader right now in France. All right, folks, that's it for On the Open in Europe. Join me at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time here at MarketStream.live. I'm going to be covering all the action on the U.S. Open. See you then.